are.
I mean,
We're back.
the inevitable. Like I just knew the camera was gonna come back, and you was gonna pretend as if you was grooving when you never were.
Hey, I'm grooving now. Isn't life about the now? Aren't you planning your next trip now?
I actually am.
See, it's about the now. So
It'll be
I wasn't
Aruba.
grooving backstage, but when then you,
Hold on. Did you
yeah,
say Aruba?
Hmm.
yes,
Oh, okay.
like that.
Okay.
See, I
That sounds amazing. See, Trisha Michelle travels for us. You know what I'm saying? We live vicariously through her and her Instagram posts. So that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I ain't going to Aruba. I can
You
tell
ain't
you
going to
that
Aruba.
much.
You ain't going
Nah.
to Bali. You ain't going to Indonesia, uh,
Going to Aruba.
Istanbul, Turkey.
I'm
You know
going.
what? Istanbul, Turkey. I don't know about. I don't even know if I would go over there, player.
I wouldn't go to that area at all right now.
I mean, there's a lot of places. I'm just saying. I
But
mean,
no,
you might
Turks
want
and
to go to
Caicos
India,
was
Turks and
the
Caicos.
first over Aruba, but it's still hurricane season for Turks around my birthday month, so Aruba it is. That's why I think you
See,
gotta do your research and check
on
and
where we're
see.
going. Right, I
And clearly,
understand.
clearly, I have a tan on my forehead.
I I can't see right now, so
I can see it now on camera. I can tell.
uh,
I
blow this up a little bit, make the screen a little bigger.
a little burn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do got a little
Mhm.
extra burn on your forehead. Why you didn't cover it up with the hair though?
With the hair,
Yeah, can't you cover it up with the hair?
we don't make bangs to just
Oh,
keep
that's right. That
past the
forehead is
forehead.
too
We
big.
let the
That
forehead
forehead.
live, but
You know what?
it happened day one when I landed. We were there before check-in by far, so we left our bags with concierge at the resort, and but we went to the water, so that's when I got burned because I didn't sunblock.
And you didn't sunblock, you didn't do nothing. But you said you let the forehead breathe, so it's okay. It's all
No,
right.
it's all good.
Is it
Mm.
gonna get a little pilly? Are you gonna, what I'm saying? What you gonna apply to
No,
the
it would have
forehead?
started peeling by now, so it's just
Yeah,
I don't know.
we know you're gonna. I mean,
I mean,
just come
shit.
over to my shop. I got you. I got some stuff for you. But I
I
don't
mean,
know
keep
if I have
coming.
enough for your forehead. You might have to get 2, 3 bottles.
Oh, it's okay. We want it to live how it lives. We appreciate the forehead around here.
You know what I'm saying?
Go Google some of the best looking women.
Forehead.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. She is looking real tannish, but you know what? That's a good thing. That means you've
Mhm.
been to somewhere with a lot of sunlight. You know what I'm saying? You've been getting your vitamins up. You know what I'm saying, from that real source of energy, which a lot of us need. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been doing the opposite. Your boy been dodging the sun. Like, it's hot here in
I know it's
Texas.
hot. It's hot out here too.
Hey, we stopped we had a layover in Houston for like 6 hours. So we left, got some food, went to Lost and Found. It was 90 something, but it actually wasn't bad. Like
What?
I
What?
wasn't it wasn't bad. I was like literally I was outside and I was like, this don't feel bad. And I like for me, I'm tripping because I done been in Houston heat and felt like so I was
Yeah,
like,
you
yo, I think I'm getting used to the Houston heat a little bit. I've been there too many times.
yeah, you caught it
This
on a
is
good day.
Good day, right?
I was
Because that's
cool.
usually humid, heat. That's
Yeah, no, I
everything
was
right.
cool with it.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's definitely hot out there, and but you know it is summertime, so that's to be expected. And with everything that we got going on in this world today, to be enjoying ourselves in the summer, to be enjoying the good weather is a great thing.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm
sure.
saying we're glad that you were able to have your experiences and join us today. And we got a great topic today, man. We're
What
talking
your girl
about
talking about? I'm
for
here
the
scratching my phone off.
yeah. We're excited about that because we can't talk about topics like this without your input.
Right.
So we're going to be talking about for the love of trauma, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot of things that involve trauma, but one of the biggest things that we want to talk about today is trauma bonding. So we're going to get into that. But y'all know before we get into that, we got to check on our people and make sure that we're good. We know Trish Michelle good, but Trish Michelle, talk to us. Let us know how you feeling today.
Man, I'm still looking, smelling, and feeling like a vacation. It's really, yeah, do you know that Drake's line? But, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Can I hear? Can I hear
Okay,
you?
yeah, Trish Michelle, you kind of
You
faded
faded
out a
out.
little bit
Oh, my
on me.
bad, y'all. Y'all can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
We
No, no,
didn't even
no.
hear you.
Yeah,
I was looking at you.
Oh,
I was like,
y'all,
hold
my
on.
bad. My bad. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Mic
yeah,
check.
It's the
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the
You
Okay,
good
no.
forehead
now?
anyway. I think your forehead hit the screen there.
No, shut up. Anywho, no, I was saying like I still look and feel like a vacation, and I said Drake's line with Future on the album Nothing Was the Same. Check the lyrics. That's where you can find it at Benji. But yeah, I'm good. I mean, you come off a vacation. I got a short week, and then it's my friend's birthday, so it's right back to turning up. The busy,
Okay.
Well,
busy ending to
That's
June.
yeah. Summertime, man. Summertime. A lot goes on in the summertime. So
Yeah.
celebrations.
June, I don't catch a break in June.
But that's a good thing, though. It's a lot of partying. It's a lot of excitement. You know what I'm
that
saying?
heat though.
So
That heat though.
Now you
uh,
fade now.
yeah, Benji, you fading now too, brother.
Might be your forehead.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
well, we gonna get this sound together, y'all. This is the big thing about being live. So you might have
Right.
those little hiccups here and there, but we gonna be good because y'all already
Right.
know how we do it. We gonna have fun. We gonna have some excitement today.
Facts.
All right.
Right?
So
Can y'all hear me though?
yeah.
Yeah,
You
we can
coming
hear
through
you.
loud and clear.
All right, for sure. I don't know. We're in a new area, so things be making up its own mind sometimes. So
Yeah, that's technology for you, man. The good and the bad and the ugly of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
But
all
hey,
good. We here. We here.
like
yeah.
sunburned foreheads just happen.
Hey,
Think.
I'm okay with that because the reason why I got it ain't the reason why other people got it. So I'm good.
It's like I was swimming in the waters of
You know,
Minnetonka, Australia.
jumping in the cenote and stuff. That's the reason why my forehead is burned.
Trish Michelle got the sun. She got the suntan. She's looking like Rachel from BET back in the day, looking real tropical. You
You
know what I'm
know,
saying?
I'm trying
Real
to keep the little
tropical out
tropical
here.
look for the summer.
Got the
That's
boho going down. You know what I'm saying? I know these things now.
You do.
Oh,
You do.
I know these things now. Got the
Hmm.
boho hanging
That's the
down.
style for the summer. Like, and this
You
is
know
the
what I'm
style
saying?
for any trip that has to do with water.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Keep it, you know what I'm saying? Straight. You know what I'm saying? Got the boho, you know what I'm saying? Got the little twist, got the human hair thing in there. I see you. I see you.
No, yeah.
all
But you
right. So
good,
Benji
bro?
Banks, the man, the brand. How you feeling, my guy?
Man, it's been legit. We're almost to the finish line of like having everything lined up. Uh, Beauty shop, the house, folks working on my backyard and my concrete, my spa, all of that type of stuff. And the shop, shoot, man, everything's going solid, man. Like I no complaints. So to be kind of at the finish line of getting it started and then to finish it is one thing. You know what I'm saying? So that joy, that excitement, and then I'll be on a break somewhere, dipping my feet. You know what I'm saying? Dipping in some water somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to that. But until the job is complete, your boy, we won't step out until everything's done. So looking forward to my little vacation because your boy need one. We've been on a rampage. So.
Yeah. Definitely need that little breaky break, that little time. You know what I'm saying? That little downtime to make sure you complete some things that you've been working on, just to get a little rest. Because I think too often in my adulthood, I have learned that my vacations don't involve rest at all. So when I
Go
come back
doing a
from
lot of stuff,
vacation,
right?
I need a vacation from the vacation
Yeah,
Right.
because vacations will wear you out.
they
You're
will.
trying
You
to do
take it
everything.
and you'll get everything that you need to get done during that vacation time. But now you're tired from doing
Yes.
all of that. And then you go back to work. So it feels like you never had a vacation. So a vacation from the vacation is always necessary.
Yeah, I think that more people should realize that and take time. Like I said, what I generally do if I go on a vacation, somewhere, I always make sure that when I come back, I have a couple of days
Yep.
before I return to work,
Back to work. Yeah.
just to just lay at the house.
Yeah. That
you
was
know what I'm
my
saying?
yesterday.
Yeah, to do
Just
absolutely nothing.
did nothing
I'm gonna
yesterday.
go. I'm gonna go at least one of those days while I'm there on vacation. I ain't doing much of nothing.
I
On
mean,
Chill
yeah,
vacation.
out.
you
I'm
could
gonna
do
Yeah.
chill
that.
out
Or you could
because
spend
yeah,
the day getting massages and stuff that one specific day. Like you could go do some stuff, but do some very relaxing,
relaxing
tranquil
stuff,
stuff.
right? Because
Yeah,
you got to get to the plane. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to
Traveling
get out of there.
traveling day is not the best, but you know.
So
yeah.
it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's the summer, so your boy stay busy. It's always something going on. Just came back from a family reunion. So, family reunions are always amazing. You got so many different characters in your family. If black folks, y'all already know. You got the cousins and the uncles that's drunk. You got the
Hmm.
loud people, you got the people that's quiet, that's in the little corner over there, they
Right.
roasting. Like you got sections of people, and it's just exciting to go and be a part of it and see everybody. And I posted a post today, man. We need to be more aware of, we need to have more family reunions, man. I think we've gotten away from that, like this generation. Like, when it feels like when we were growing up, like we were always like having a family reunion, or like always having a family function where everybody was there. But that's kind of faded away, man. Family ain't family like it used to be no more, man.
Family
Right.
ain't family like they used to be.
Folks,
Yeah,
everybody
So
else
that
together like they
adds to
used to.
it. Like some people don't even want to be in the same place with them people. Their blood ain't no thicker than water. So I
Man,
mean, you know,
who you tell?
it's kind of tough now. People, the values, the morals, the way they treat each other. Family was a different word back then. Now family, like people definitely treat you like your enemy in your family. So it's kind of
yeah,
tough
That is a
sometimes.
fact, and that's where
yes,
one of our biggest trauma bonds comes from.
yeah. It's sad that people feel like they got ops in their family. I'm like, you got ops in your family? Wow. Like,
Man,
how your cousin your ops? Like, that is crazy to me. Like, I just don't understand
folks
it.
been doing folks dirty, man. Like
They either doing them dirty, treating them dirty, talking to them dirty. It's something dirty. It's a dirty situation.
yes,
Yeah, I'm just
I got a
like,
family member. Now she's not the op, but
she could be.
I don't fool with her.
You hold your nose up like,
I'd
hold
let
on,
no.
what you doing here?
well, I
What you
think
over here for?
we all have some family members that we really don't, mess with like that. But, luckily for me, I can tell you straight up, I don't have any family members that I can tell you that I just really don't mess with. Like, I'm
Right,
locked in with pretty much everybody, right? Whether they locked in with me or not, I don't know. But when I show up to a function, like, it's love for everybody. Like,
right.
I don't have, what I'm saying, like, whatever they did is what they did, whatever they said is what they said. When I see them, it's love, and I'm just gonna keep it as that. Whatever they got to deal with, that's them and God for them, right?
Right.
But for me, I'm gonna have, what I'm saying, that happiness and that good energy in my heart, and when I enter a room, you're gonna be able to see that, and that's just the way I'm that's just where I function.
Did you meet anybody you haven't met before? Any new family members?
No,
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 pretty much know
everybody
everybody. Yeah,
was pretty much, you got family members. They got little kids, of course, like that. So you see,
Yeah.
a little cousin here and there, or a baby that
right,
somebody just had. But other than that, same old jokers, same
right.
old folks. You know what I'm saying? Same old action ready. You know what I'm saying, to have some fun, and that's what we did. So what I'm saying, that was dope. I really enjoyed that. Really needed that to re-energize me as an individual. You know what I'm saying, to let me know that, hey, good families still exist. That's a
Right.
fact.
They do. They do.
Yeah,
That's a dope thing though.
yeah,
Honestly, that's something I've always admired, even growing up, watching other people's families, because that's kind of how I gleaned on how I would want things to go. I kind of learned what I didn't want and what I did want from watching other people's families. So that especially if they, if I knew they were solid, they parents or whatever like that. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, shoot, my family used to always get together at least once a year at my grandma's house, big barbecue, band, music, all that. Like, whether you like somebody there or not, they was still showing up.
yeah.
Right.
And I mean, it still rock like that. Even if my sister was there, I'm gonna be there.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you just have to avoid, certain circumstances and certain people during that small amount of time because you know what, this world is different now and time flies so fast, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to have that instance of something happening to you or something happening to the individual that you have an issue with and y'all leave this earth or one of y'all leave this earth without resolving it. It's a terrible feeling to have beef with somebody that you can no longer solve it with, right?
Right.
Unless they are op, sometimes people are excited they ops is out of here. So, you
Yeah.
know, that's hey, you know what? And speaking of that, real quick, I'm not gonna mention names because I don't want the bad energy from any of these rappers or anything out there in the industry. But man, it continues to happen with these rappers. They rap about each other. They rap about killing each other, shooting each other. Everybody's the
Oh.
ops,
Then it happens.
and then it
Mm-hmm.
happens, and it's like when you're on social media and you're at a place and you're saying, "Hey, we're at so and so's club. We're at so and so location. Here's the address," and you got ops. Come on, dog. Like,
Yeah.
These dudes
Yeah.
don't. These dudes don't know. They say they move in silence, man, but these cats don't know how to move.
I'm
Like
like, you really got beef
like
like
under
that?
the radar. You know what I'm
Like,
saying? Like sometimes that ego get in the way,
They
bro.
be
Like
feeling
you
like
gotta
they
understand,
invisible until they're not.
right? And
well,
any like Tupac said, anybody can get touched.
yeah, like I said, I mean, I think now, and I said this the other day to my cousin, I think now in hip hop is what people thought the 90s was, right? When they talk about the violence and the rap and all this stuff, like there was
Yeah.
violence in the lyrics, but there wasn't violence actually occurring at high
Yeah.
levels like it is now. Now, these guys are actually killing each other. Like they rapping about it and they actually doing
It's
it.
happening.
That's
Yeah.
because they got life insurance policies put out on them. And
Well, I mean,
And that it's
some of these
strictly
owners want them bumped off.
that's
it's
one
really
of
me. Because the person whoever laying them out ain't getting no life insurance policy.
yeah,
They're not
nah.
getting the money from it. They getting the reward of killing the person. That's what they really
Right,
want to happen. That's what
right.
their
Yeah.
reward is.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
because people want these young guys want the ops to know that I say I want to lay you out, I'm gonna do it, and this is
Yeah.
what I'm
They want
gonna
that
do, and
street
this
cred.
yeah. So then they're gonna make another song about it. They're
You're
gonna go rap
right.
about how they did it.
True.
So, and
True.
then somebody's gonna be making a rap about how they're gonna get them, and then back and forth, and it's craziness, man. So yeah, parents, pay attention to your kids and what they're listening to, and what they're involved in, because the music that we listen to, I can tell you, I listened to all kinds of craziness growing up, and I never once did anything. I ain't go out shoot nobody. I ain't go out and sell
Right.
not one drug. None of that
Right.
stuff I was listening to because I understood it was art and I understood it was entertainment, right?
Right.
So as a parent, you have to, kind of reiterate that to your kids that even though they're going to listen to this stuff, help them understand that this stuff is
It's
entertainment.
art.
This stuff
Right.
is
It's
is
entertainment.
not
Right.
real for the
Yeah.
most part, and the stuff that is real happening to these people is permanent. And these young people got to understand that death is permanent, and that's one other
Right.
thing that I don't think that they understand, that when people leave here, they're not coming back. You
People,
can't take that back.
I don't even
us
think
young
they
folk
think
have a
that far
tendency of
into it.
thinking we're immortal.
Say it again.
I said
I
us
think
young folk have a tendency a lot of times to think we're immortal, like
I
it's
I think it's what
not
Trisha
gonna
Michelle
happen.
said. I think is they don't even think that far, right?
It's
Right.
They
surface
just
level
in the
thinking
yeah,
off
they
their
just in the
emotions.
moment. Yeah, they just
Right.
in the
Emotions.
moment and doing stuff and not thinking about the backlash and the next 20, 30, 40 years of their life. They ain't thinking that far. And
Right.
Yeah,
quite honestly, a lot of these guys don't even feel like they're gonna make it that far. So
That's
why even
true.
think that
that's
far?
true too. That
Some
is
of them
true
don't
too.
want to live that far, or they feel like
Man,
they don't want
I
to.
don't
That's
know if
another
they
thing.
don't
I
want
wouldn't
to,
say
but
that they don't want to, because I can't think of anybody that don't want to
yeah,
live, like, unless that's something else going on. So I mean,
Right. Right.
like, I can't think of anybody that just don't want to live longer than what they could possibly live.
Right.
Yeah, I just think they're not thinking it out. They're not thinking it
Yeah.
through. And, you know,
There's a lot of young
again,
cats too. Because I
yeah,
just had this conversation with my son, not specific to like something happening, but I was just telling him because sometimes he'll tend to like surface react to some, something little though. But I'm like,
right.
you got to think of like, what is you want out of this? Like the results, the consequences, what could happen. Like, because he's like, I was telling him that I think like that in like the moment. And he's like, yeah, right, that's cap. And I'm like, no, I really do. Like, I really
Right.
put all the pieces together and take the time and step back and analyze things. What could this be? Could it go good, bad, good? What do I want from it? Like, and you have to think beyond just someone pissed you off right now.
Right.
And so, yeah, I just had this conversation. I want to say 24 hours ago. Like,
That's a
for real.
level of maturity that we
Yeah.
all hope our kids can, process that and go through, right? Because
Yep.
Hmm.
like I've been in those moments, and you got if you didn't have a level head, yeah, you'd be gone. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
facts.
legit.
Yep. Like one of my OGs used to tell us 20 seconds can get you 20 years. So,
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
you know, that's the honest to goodness truth. Something that you just make a decision just like that could alter your life forever and alter many other people's lives forever. And what a lot of these people don't understand too is when you take somebody from this earth, you're not just affecting that one person, you're not just affecting their family. It's a domino
Yeah.
effect of people that you
Yeah.
affect along the way. So and also you're changing the life of your family. You know what I'm saying? The lives of the people around you because you probably gonna go to jail for a long time. So,
Yeah.
and you know what's the crazy part too, and I'll say this and we'll kind of move on to the subject for today. But a lot of these young guys that are doing this stuff, like they have kids, they have little kids, 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
old, toddlers. You know what I'm saying and stuff. And I'm like, I just don't understand the decision making when it comes to that because I tell you one thing, when my kids were especially young, I was especially careful with what I did because I wanted to make it home. I
Right.
wanted to make it home to them. So they
Yeah.
were my motivation at that point. So I just don't understand the decision making that these young guys have. But I'll tell you this, the OGs that are out there, the guys you call OG or the guys you call you like
Right.
we as that generation got to do a better job of trying to
Coaching.
give some effort. Yeah, trying to
Right.
give some
Right.
effort into, having conversations with these young men and women about stuff and the ladies as well. Like we got to stop this hands off approach of
Right.
well they just gonna do
Letting
it
them do
anyway.
whatever they want to do. Right.
Yeah.
Nah, we
You
got to
still
do a
have
better
an
job of
influence.
that. Yeah, we
Some
got
Have
to
an
have a
kids.
better
influence. You can make a
influence.
difference. One word could change
Right.
their reaction or what they're gonna do. Like, yeah, that hands off is stupid.
Yeah,
25 to life never crossed some people's minds in the moment. They
Yeah.
yeah,
move recklessly a lot of times, and I'd say if you had some solid people around coaching you on certain things, you typically ended up making better or wiser decisions, especially if you had a two-parent household. You typically ended up making more solid decisions. But for these kids who kind of come up and just did whatever they wanted to do, especially if they was broke, man, shoot, the risk, they'd rather take the risk rather than, kind of, look at the opposite end. So, but yeah, shout out to those that kind of molded the minds of some of us and helped us along the way to make it to 45 and 43 and 40.
yep. Definitely was needed and necessary, and we got to pay it forward too. We got to start,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, doing a better job of that. And like I said, I always say, especially the guys, especially the guys out there, because a lot of these young men are lost, bro. They just lost, and they just it's amazing what it does when you have a conversation with them to kind of let them know that you even care about it, and their reaction to it a lot of times is like, wow, I didn't
Hmm.
even some of them have never had anybody even take time to just
Right.
talk to them and pour into them and tell them anything positive. Everything that they hear
Right.
is so negative, you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
people talk at them and not to them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just a bunch of stuff that we got to get better at this level if we want the younger people, to get better at interacting with us and with each other. So, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
we
Right.
gotta make sure that happens. All right. So like I said, today we're going to talk about For the Love of Trauma. That's the title of episode 165 today. Trauma. is defined as deeply distressing or disturbing experiences, right? There's three types of trauma. There's acute trauma. There's a single and the single episode, single incident,
Right.
chronic, repeated, prolonged, and then you got complex, which is varied and
Right.
multiple traumatic events. So when you think about trauma, for a lot of us, when we hear that word, we have events that pop into our mind that are examples in our own lives of
Right.
trauma. And for me, growing up, one traumatic event was I got trapped in the backyard with a dog, right? So
What kind of dog, though?
it's a pit bull. It's a pit
Ah,
bull. So for me, that event, changed my whole trajectory in my life especially when it comes to dogs, because I'm okay with dogs, but I really
that's
don't
why
mess.
you don't want a dog.
I really don't mess with dogs like that, right? So
That's
even though
crazy.
I had dogs after that, like
Right.
I'm really not a dog person.
Dog
So
person.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when people got dogs, and people, when folks come visit your house, put the damn dog up, okay? Because
Yeah. I mean, that's just
nobody want the dog all over the place. Like at least ask people, do you like
is
dogs?
it
Like
okay? Yeah.
yeah, I understand you got a dog, right? That's
Which one
cool.
traumatized? Oh,
That's
hold on.
cool.
Acute, chronic, or complex, fam?
Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I don't have a problem with the dogs, but I'm just like, I don't want to go to your house and the dog's jumping all over me. Like,
Yeah. Now some people dogs ain't trained on jump all over you.
like,
So yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
My
Like,
dog will jump. My dog will first, because she's trained to attack first. If I don't like calm her down, she will. If she don't know you, she will go at you. So I totally understand, and so you do have to, coach a dog not to do all of that.
I'm gonna
But
need you to train your dog to attack on command.
it's
no,
like,
my
man,
dog. No, no, I want my dog to attack. Period. I got girls around here. I
To
play no game. If I don't
attack
know you,
on
if I don't
command.
know you, and so for example, the dude that came in was trying to lay my concrete, right? He took it upon himself to hit the lock in the back and come straight through. And my dog blessed him. And he didn't, he was like, yo, I'm like, why are you trying to go through my backyard? Like, hold on, check. You got
Do
to
you
check
have
what I
a
say.
beware of dog sign on your gate?
Mm-mm.
Well, that's why. I mean,
I
even though he
mean,
shouldn't,
but you
but
don't
he's a
come,
construction worker thinking since he's doing
no,
the
you
project,
come
he has
knock on my
access.
door first. But
But
your understanding
but I am gonna tell you
should have been
legally in
said.
California,
Right.
you're supposed to have a beware of
Beware of
dog
dog sign.
sign on the
Right.
front and on the back side of your house.
Right. I agree. I would agree.
So you better get that up or somebody can sue you.
oh wow,
No, that is
yeah,
true.
that's
That is
different.
very true.
That's different.
But it was weird because I didn't even know he came to just go through my yard. I'm like, you come knock on the door.
Yeah, I mean,
So it was a little weird,
you
but
shouldn't enter nobody's yard.
You
yeah, it
introduced
was a
that
little
man
weird.
to
But
you
obviously
introduced
that
that
is
man
true.
to a traumatic experience. Now he has an episode of trauma
We'll
that
knock on front doors now, I guarantee you that.
Hey, he'll knock
well,
on the front door now. But see, I get it. I understand. So everybody has their things about like I don't fool with cats. I like dogs, but
I'm
I can't
allergic to
stand
the
cats.
cats, but
Yeah.
Big Ken's experience is very similar to the experience I have with a dog. Like
But you have like 2 and 3 dogs.
I got
Even
two,
if you
yeah, but they're my dogs that listen to me.
right.
That
so
I
see,
train.
that's interesting. That's interesting that you say that, because she said she had a similar experience to what I had, right? But her reaction to that was she has her own dogs,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with me, I choose not to have a dog, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing when you talk about trauma bonding, where you have people who go one way and people who go another way,
Right.
right? People who choose to leave the situation or alienate the situation, and people who choose to cling to the situation,
Yeah, me and the
right?
Go
dogs,
for it.
we homies now.
So that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting dynamic. I mean, that's I'm not calling Trisha Michelle's
Calling
relationship
me
Hold
with
and
on.
her
my
Are you
dogs a trauma
traumatized?
a
bond.
trauma bond.
My dogs
Are
are
your dogs
clearly
a trauma bond, Patricia?
me and my
But
dogs
Serious
are
now?
clearly trauma
It,
bond.
Clearly a
hey,
trauma bond. Okay.
but it's
No,
similar
they
in
actually are though, but from a different experience.
yeah,
Like from
yeah.
how we
See,
arrived. So
okay,
my
that
dog is
What,
from trauma.
tell
Now
us.
they must. I must always have a dog and a
Would you
gun
please tell us, ma'am? You're on this
legally.
live recording. Would you please tell us about your experience, your trauma bond experience, please?
With my dog.
Yeah, you said you had a trauma bond.
Oh, well, I can tell you what happened. Like at my grandma's. So my grandma has an acre, well, had an acre yard. She had a dog that was bad, but I'm like younger. I don't, I'm maybe like 9 or 10. I don't know the correct age, and I don't think my mom's in the comments right now. But real young, and so the dog would always be tied up. But at that time, I'm not knowing. Don't keep a dog tied up. That's actually a bad thing. It makes them more aggressive if they're already aggressive. But anyway, so I'm the last one. Let the gate was manual, so I had to open the gate to let my parents in, let them in. Everybody went in. I'm still just taking my sweet little time at my grandma's house. Yay, skipping. Shut the gate. The dog came charging from the end of the acre yard, and before I could even make it to like her front there, the dog jumped on me. All I remember is I blacked out. I had like tooth holes, scars, scrapes, gashes, like everything. I blacked out and I just woke up in the bed in the house. That's all I remember.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, so I was pretty jacked up.
Dang!
And so for a long time, I was scared of only big dogs, but because little dog, I couldn't think of anything a little dog could do. But I was scared of almost any big dog, like walking past the fence, like anything. So how did I end up having a dog? I guess it's just because my parents still always had a dog at home. That
Right,
my dogs never did anything to me. So I guess that's where I still resonated. Like my dogs won't do that,
right,
but I ain't fooling with nobody else's dog.
right. Like, hold on. Like, these my dogs. I'm cool with them because you can coach them, train them, and make
Yeah.
them
So I
listen
mean, I
to you.
train
With
them.
somebody else's dog, like, hold on. Yeah, no, I ain't
But
fooling with
yeah, and yeah, that
When did
dog.
you actually
Yeah.
kind of get over that? Because you were young. When did you was like, I get my own
Um,
dog? Later on, older,
I would
15,
say
20.
I was still scared of other people's dogs because I'm still like I'll be looking at your dog crazy. I need to know if your dog really trained, but like the actual like I'm around other people's dogs without really being like that. I would say maybe like my teens, maybe like 15.
Yeah,
I didn't really care too much like that.
right. Dang. Well, sorry to hear that. I never knew that.
Yeah, I got a little
yeah.
jacked
I
up.
So
would never have thought that experience happened, and but because you're such a dog lover, so to
Yeah.
speak,
So my dogs,
I would never guess
y'all
that.
better be thankful up in here.
See, see what happened in the trauma bond. Somebody has to, kind of
yeah, yeah.
I
be
got the dog
forceful in the
so I
situation.
could bully him. No, I'm just kidding. I love my
Right,
dogs.
right.
My get
Yep.
back.
Yeah. So
So
like
that,
I
that's
said,
that's kind of telling though, because I think some people, even when we deal with people, we kind of are skittish a little bit, but then we do have people who we kind of be like, yeah, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Especially if
Well,
you give us
from
that
past
same vibe,
experience,
right?
you'll see something that looks similar to what occurred. Like,
Right,
I see a big dog. I got bit by a big dog, so I don't know about this big dog. So with people, is I see a cheater. You look like you might cheat because you're moving the way the cheater did. So either you're gonna fool with them or not. That's based off of
right.
your past traumas. Depends on how you're gonna interact with certain people. It will dictate it. Some people
That is
still
very
move
true.
forward, and at that point, I don't know what to call you.
Right.
Oh,
And so now you're on the total defense, or you're reacting to the trauma bond. What do you do? Because I know what I do. Do you just be like, I deuces, I'm good, say
um,
nothing, move around, or how do you respond to it?
that's
Like,
kind of
hey,
difficult. For some people, I mean, 90% of the time, I'm gonna think you cheating. But the other 10%, there's some people that because if we're not made aware, if we're not sure or know that what we're doing looks like this or is coming off like that, maybe we're not even intending to be that or do that or whatever, but there's the lack of communication or conversation
right,
that they've never had or never had that challenged by somebody. So they
right,
very well may not be cheating. They just do weird shit. So you need to
Right.
tell them like, yo, like
And
for
nobody's
me,
ever said anything to
look,
them,
right. So
so
for
you
me,
think
what
it's
you're doing
normal.
looks like this. And if you continue that, I have this issue where I need some reassurance and I need you to whatever. And it's okay to reassure somebody. Like,
Right.
you know, they might need that or they need you to stop doing that because of certain things as they're helping heal from their trauma. But at the same time, if you walking like a duck, acting like a duck, quacking like a duck, and I call you a duck,
It's
and
a
after
duck.
I told you
Don't be
stop
mad if I
quacking,
call you a duck.
then don't get mad if I call you a duck and I leave your duck at.
I like the part though, it's okay to reassure people though. I think that in that experience, you have to be okay with reassuring people. And that's kind of something,
We've been through so much as a people,
right?
like that. No, we're not needing you to heal me. I healing has to
Okay,
happen somewhere else,
right,
but you can help me. You can be a part of my journey, and there's nobody that you're gonna find that's perfectly, absolutely healed. I mean, not saying no one. Let me say that the
right,
percentage is low.
Yeah.
So they're gonna need you at moments, and but it's also gonna take that person to communicate where they're weak at or what it is that they're doing without jumping to conclusions. Though, too, have a
right.
conversation and y'all figure it out. But
I like
communication is
that.
the key.
Yeah. So with the trauma piece is one part of trauma bonding, but the trickiest part of the trauma bonding piece is the love aspect, right?
Hmm.
Because love is so many different things and can be defined in so many different ways. So, and it's interesting that when I pulled up love and I always look for the definitions to see kind of how,
Did
it's
it change?
traditionally defined is so this is interesting, right? So it says love is defined as, first of all, love is a noun and a verb. So, love as a noun is defined as an intense feeling of deep affection, a
Hmm.
feeling of deep romantic or sexual attachment to somebody, or a great interest or pleasure in something. So, it can be one of those three.
Hmm.
So, first of all, as a noun and as a verb, is to feel deep affection for someone, to feel deep romantic or sexual attachment to someone, or to like or enjoy something. So, it's a noun and verb, very similar, but it seems to be in just that definition, three different levels of what love can be, right?
Hmm.
So, when you say you love somebody or you have a love for something, is defined differently. So when you tell somebody I love you, we all know it's a difference when you tell your friend you love them, and we
Right.
you
Yeah,
know we try to get cute sometimes. We try to say love you instead of I love you.
yeah.
You know
Don't
what I'm
be
saying?
cute with me. You better
Because
say that shit with your chest.
we reserve the I love you for relationships, your significant other, and people that are really really close to you. So you try to use it as a definer between the two. But at the end of the day, you just got to tell people I love you, man. You know
Right.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And you got to mean it. And it's it's
See
very
me, I ain't
tricky.
gonna tell you if I don't mean it. It's just not my flow.
you're not gonna
I,
what? I'm sorry.
I said I'm not gonna tell somebody if I don't mean it.
Oh, I
I've
mean,
always
why
been
would
like
you
that.
lie?
I mean,
That's a disservice to the individual.
some people use
Like
love
yourself.
as the manipulating tactic. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? Or the idea
That's true.
of love. They use it because they know most. I mean, if we're being real out here in the streets, most people know people are suckers for love. We have a tendency to pick people who are kind of suckers for love, and you know how to. If you've been in the game and you know what that looks like and feels like, and you can play on somebody's emotions easy with the "I love you" word, especially if you know what I'm saying, for the first month doing all the things that you say you gonna do and doing all, it's easy.
That's what time will tell. Time will
Facts.
reveal all. And
Well, you know
Facts.
what that's
we shall see.
kind of reminds me of what Benji's talking about, and we talked about this before. It's called love bombing, right? At the
Right.
beginning of a
Hmm.
relationship, you just start you bombarding them with everything that you
Girl, I
know
love
that
you.
yeah, with the
Girl, you know I love
with
them
the
draws.
gifts,
I'm saying.
with the words, with everything that you could possibly give them to make them feel like this euphoric high of wow, this is what things are gonna be like, and they drop off. You know what I'm saying? Dramatically, but it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy because I was laughing too There's two moments that stick out to me in life where people tend to say "I love you," right? And guys are very guilty of this. Guys will tell a woman they love her to get the
Hmm.
draws, right?
Mm,
Because
Yes,
that
yes.
makes the draws come off.
A
One.
thin line between love and hate.
Number two, men and women are both guilty of this. When you're having sex and it's really good, and you look in that person's eyes and you say, "I love you," like
do not ever take that for face value. Let me tell y'all right now.
you
Just
know,
know that I love you is not the same I love you.
That's dead. That's deadly right there. But it's just,
That
you
is
know what I'm
not the
saying.
same. That is not the same.
But you using that to
No, you
get
love what's happening right
every
now.
bit of
yeah,
emotion.
yeah,
You love what's happening right now.
Yes.
that's pre nut emotions. You know what I'm saying? But after the nut comes in, it's like,
Then
man,
all
you
of a
come
sudden,
down.
Clarity.
like
The clarity comes in
Yeah,
full.
the clarity
all of a
comes
sudden
in.
you regret that sentence. You like, dang, I just said.
Yeah.
Like,
What you,
dang, hold
now
on.
what you gonna say? You gonna say, I didn't mean that, right? So
Yeah,
you can't say
yeah.
that.
No,
So it's like, what do you do?
I meant to
Listen, you
say,
got to be fair and just be like, I know you didn't mean that. It's just the heat of the moment. Yeah, it's all good. Be
I
realistic with
mean,
yourself. Don't fool
but you got
yourself.
but you gotta understand, there's a lot of people out there just looking for love, man, and they're looking for it at all costs. So when they hear somebody say that they love them, it just
Mhm.
does something, right? It's just an immediately clink clink attachment to them now because this person loves me. Especially when you're young, right? Especially when you're young
Oh
because
yeah,
you don't know like the
you
many
ain't
variations of love. You just know you take people at face value a lot when you're young
right,
because
yeah.
right.
people are telling you verbally they love you, and then they're showing you a little bit of the love that you want. And of course, when you're young, when you're teenager, we didn't know nothing about love languages and any of that
Right.
stuff. So we just know that if somebody's buying you something and doing the things that you feel like what I'm saying
Consider
make
it
you
love.
happy,
Right.
then they must love you, right?
I mean, there's an old saying: if you show people your hand too much, they'll fall in love with your hand and not your heart. So
I
you
just
have to be
know
careful.
that if someone tells you that they love you, ask yourself, does this person even know me? Do they even
That's
know
good.
anything about me? What have they learned to love about me? Like, what
Mm,
is it that they love? Because honestly, half the time, people are prematurely saying, I love you because their feelings are so bliss at the moment. What do they call that? Infatuation is
Yeah.
infatuation.
half the time what it
Is
is,
it
the majority of the
bliss?
time before they actually make it to love. Because there's levels, like Big Ken said, but there's so much that you need to learn about a person. For me, I'm gonna speak for myself
Right, right,
before I can just say I love you, because
right.
I might find out the next few months that you do a whole lot of shit I can't stand. Like, and now I'm
And
like,
then you got to
you know
back
what?
up that love that you said you had
Like,
for him, right?
all of a sudden you're out of love, like, but you
Hmm.
weren't never in it because you
Right.
never really knew this person. You never even knew what you love about that person. Like, answer that question. When you love me, what do you love about me?
Yeah, but you
And if
got
What
they
made
people
you
out here.
love me?
any of that, if they can't repeat any of that, you can't fool yourself. You got to
And the
be
bottom line
honest
rule
with
is, do not
yourself.
tell me what I told you about myself.
Right,
You tell me why.
But you
right.
got people out here that say stuff like, to know me is to love me. So they go into the situation already feeling that you're going to love me anyway because everybody loves me, right?
No, and they're stupid
So
because everybody don't love you.
They love your
You're just
hand.
around
They
I
people
can love what
that
you
love
promise
you.
give.
you,
They can
I
love the
promise you,
fishes and the loaves and not really want to
I
rock with you.
promise you, there are adults out here who feel like everybody loves them. Everybody who meets me enjoys my presence. Everybody who sees me loves what they're looking at. Like they're
I
infatuated with
mean,
themselves,
when you
right?
Or the person that
when
don't
you
like
got
you
it,
ain't got the
that's
time to sit
secondary
here
for
and
you.
confront you and tell you. They just X you out. So you don't even know that the people that don't like you. But I guarantee you people don't like you.
I mean, I know people don't like me, and
I'm
I'm
here to
glad.
tell you.
I kind of
Everybody don't
relish in
love
that.
you.
I kind of relish in that. The difference with me is I usually can pick it up really, really, really quick. I think that's been like one of the things that's helped me along, that got me out of a lot of situations. Like I've been fortunate enough to recognize, oh, that yeah, it just give you that feeling when I'm around you. We talked about that earlier. Start, when you've been triggered by a lot of stuff, and when you recognize, when you see it on somebody, you want to be optimistic and be like, all right, nah, it ain't really like that. And then it's funny because I just had this experience no less than 2-3 weeks ago. And I had been feeling it for quite some time about the person. And you know how a person gives you that vibe, like they be talking about you on the low. And then they accidentally slip up and put your name on an email.
Oh,
Hmm.
And you're like, oh, I've been feeling it, but it's like, yeah,
it ain't never had to be delivered to your front door.
yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Dang.
so I'm fortunate, like, but I sometimes I hate that because it's usually with me, it's always accurate. And I
Mm-mm.
hate it because sometimes
Sometimes we don't
you
want to be
have to
right.
push a lot of people away
Mm-hmm.
at the expense of what you don't really know it until it reveals itself, but it's just that feeling that you get when you're around them. You're like, yeah, I don't know. And it happens, and then you're just sitting there like, man. And so now you're at a space where what do? Because you got to interact with this person, kind of frequently and often because y'all, work in cahoots together. And it can be weird,
Yeah.
man. So you
Or
got to be
so you
careful.
feel that you have to, because I think I'm gonna call me and my sister. I mean, yes, we're blood, but I'm gonna still call
Mhm.
it a trauma bond because I keep trying to uh fix it.
Right,
Like keep trying to be cool with her and I keep trying over years. And it's always because, or we're going through the same thing. Our
right,
mom is dealing with this, or I
right,
have to like mend. I'm only trying to mend it
right,
for other reasons, like, oh, because we're, this or that, or our grandma passed, or oh, it's
right,
something
right.
happened. And so I'm feeling like I need to keep her close when it's nothing but disaster. So
Every
like I
time it's
said, the
like they
bond,
show you, they reveal to you who they are,
yeah,
like
every time. And
immediately.
so the only reason I'm bonding or attaching to her again is always because of a like trauma in between us that relates us or makes us
Right.
relate. And it's really just disastrous for us. Unfortunately, it's that's what it is. But it's just
Shout
yeah,
out to the optimism in a lot of people, man, because being optimistic about a feeling and what a person is showing you can be
that's draining.
it could, yeah, it could be draining because you're looking for the best. And I think most of us as people in general, we know so and so is crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, whatever it may be. And you just like, man, I'm hoping for the best. But it's like you have to expend so much energy just to be in their presence. Like it's
Man,
like, man, this can get obnoxious. So you can't be around them all the time. So, but yeah, it can be quite
just to
interesting.
communicate, just to say something so simple takes so much effort, and nothing should ever take that much.
Right.
Yep. But
It's like, and what's funny is the person on the opposite end who doesn't see themselves in that light. It seems like they relish in pulling you into their craziness.
Yep, that's
It's
what
almost like they
outsiders looking
know.
in have stated at times. They feel like this person gets a kick out of it, or they're
Right,
sometimes purposely doing certain things.
right.
And yeah,
It could be interesting because, yeah.
hmm
well, you
And
also
we, so,
know that in those situations too, those individuals know that they get your attention,
yep,
right?
right.
And
And
a
they may
lot of
love your
times,
attention too.
yeah, that's what they're seeking. They're seeking your attention, so they act out in those ways, kind of like a little
mhm,
kid, right? When a
yeah,
little kid doesn't know how to get your attention, but they know that doing something bad will get a reaction out of you.
Right,
Then, and that's what we've talked about that before too, and that's why we say don't always talk, approach your child or kid with what they're doing wrong. Also, talk to them about what they're doing right, so
yeah,
that every time that you approach them, they don't feel like it's a situation where they've done something wrong and they react and such. So,
right.
I mean, we train people how to treat us. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? And
Absolutely.
we don't even know it, throughout our lives. And we have to be aware of that as well. So, that's a big part of trauma bonding too. So, okay. So let me break down some things about the trauma bonding piece before we go forward. Okay. So the trauma bonding is defined as an unhealthy emotional attachment that can form between two people, an abused person and their abuser. It can occur in a romantic relationship. It can occur between friends, family, colleagues. Trauma bonds are often established in childhoods, marked by abuse and learned through a cycle of positive and negative reinforcement. So, a lot of times, those things that happen to you as a child take root in your adulthood in a similar manner, right? In other forms, at work, at church, you know what I'm saying, in your friendships. And I think that's the difficult thing, because when we talk about trauma bonds, we always kind of look at relationships and say, okay, trauma bond. But your family member, your relationship, like Chris Michelle said, your relationship with a family member, somebody that is blood, tied to you, can be a trauma bond. I mean, you all are, bonded because you're blood, because you share the same DNA, but you all have been through something, and we have parents, out there that were abusive to their children, and just because that's your parent doesn't mean you have to be around them. If
Right.
somebody beat you, almost to death, just because they are a family member or a person that you share the same blood with, don't mean that you owe them anything,
Right.
right? Because after that point, after they created that traumatic situation or that trauma for you, you have a choice,
Right. That's very
right?
true. It's funny
So
because I have it's funny, and I'm not gonna say the name, but I have a lady friend of mine who mom really abused her growing up, like abuse, and her mom is on her deathbed now, and her that the daughter is the one that has to be at her bedside,
tough.
help her, assist her, all of those types of things. So I always wonder, because I actually asked the question, and like why don't you like being around your mom? And she broke down and she told me the whole story. Because me, I look different, because you grow up without your mom, you always look at other people's moms, you kind of hold them to a high standard, or this love standard, because you've been without it. So when you see moms, you always think like, or pops, you always, for me, I always see them like in this glorified position. You get what I'm saying? Like they almost can do no wrong for me, because I wish I had that. But to see somebody totally go away from their parents or their mom because of what they did to them growing up, it's crazy to view, because again, on my end, I look at it like, man, I wish my mom was here. I wish I could grow up with my mom. I don't know how wild she would have been, you know what I mean, or whatever. But sometimes that longing in you just wants you to be like, man, I just wish my mom was here. And to see a total different side where it's like, yeah, I can't fool with her. But then to have to now be in the position to where you have no choice, so to speak, but to be there because she's on her deathbed, that's a game changer. That's a
Yeah,
whole different feel.
that's
Yeah, that's
I
tough.
can't even imagine, because I'm sure it's absolutely tough.
Right. Because I'm sure all of that stuff relives itself. You're probably reliving it every time you see them anyway. So now you're there in that space. So how do you, like, in my mind, I go to how do you reconcile at that point? Because really, the person is on their last leg. So, like, how do you can you reconcile it even at that moment? I would hope you could, but who knows?
Hopefully,
Depends on what's in that person's heart at the moment.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I don't think you can reconcile some of those situations, because you can't undo what's been done, right?
Right,
And
right,
some situations, no matter what somebody says out of their mouth, it's not going to change anything from the years of torment that,
right.
I'm saying, you experience, right? So, I mean, that's a tough situation to be in, but at the same time, it just depends on the person and how they want to move forward in their life. And sometimes you got to just, as my grandmother used to say, you just got to pray for folks and keep it moving, right?
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
I mean, some folks are not going to change. It
That
don't
is a
matter.
fact.
They'll go to the grave being exactly who they are, and they believing that they're 100% correct in their
Right.
actions and their words. So don't expect, what I'm saying, the apology or the change behavior from a lot of people. And that's just part of that trauma bond thing. But man, I got some graphics I want to throw up for y'all, man, throughout this
Let's go.
conversation, just to make sure that we have some pictures of what this things look like, man. And so I got the first one. It says, how do trauma bonds start? The abuse occurs, emotional, physical, and psychological abuse, right? Manipulation happens. Abuser gets to the person to believe that it's love. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like we talked about earlier, so many different forms of love. So people get confused. So it's easy for, some people to get tricked, right? And then the cycle begins. The person hopes it'll get better, but the cycle continues. And a lot of times these abusers, they'll do things that they know will appease you, right?
Right.
They do things that they know well, they abuse you, but then tomorrow they go buy you, a nice
The
nice a
flowers you
nice a nice
like,
coat,
the
a nice
Man,
candy,
coat or a nice
yes.
purse.
that was my
You,
grandma. Not to me though, but
yeah, I mean, but
I'm looking at the cycle. I'm like, oh,
yeah. But see, this is the thing. That's why I was saying before the show, y'all. When I was looking at all this stuff, it
Mhm.
made me kind of look at some of the relationships that I had in my life, and friendships and stuff, and even connections with family members, and question them like, I know it's a different type of connection, a family member, relatives, or friends, or whatever. But is this a trauma bond? Because
yeah.
it's
Yeah, I mean, you have
it's
to
checking a lot of these
identify it and
boxes.
call it what it is.
It's checking a lot of these boxes because, like, listen, I can tell you some relationships that I had were definitely trauma bonds, right? And all too often we have that situation where we, especially when you're young, you feel like because you spent so long making a mistake, you should stay there, right? Well, I've
Right.
been with this girl for so and so and so and so. We've been through this, and this. So I might as well just like we say, thug it out. And no, don't thug it out.
Right.
like,
No,
like
if you done with that heifer or that
like
dude,
the
I mean, I'm
situation
quick to
is
shut up when people
tragic,
sign, so
right,
that's
it's
always
beyond
been me.
tragic, and it's just gonna
right?
become even more tragic.
And it starts when we're young too. For some folks, right? When you're young, and I remember elementary, there was a thing where if a girl liked you, a lot of times she would hit you,
Yeah.
right? And it was acceptable
Right.
for a girl to hit you, and
Oh
it's
She
no,
just
it
likes
went
you,
it
bro,
went
so
both
she hitting
ways.
on you.
It went both ways.
Yes, it
well, I'm
did.
just saying, like,
Yes, it
like,
did.
but it went both ways. But it wasn't acceptable for a boy to hit a girl, right?
Yeah.
If a boy hit a girl,
We did
then
it
a
though.
lot of
I mean,
times,
right? They used to do it though.
We
They
did it
gonna
yeah.
though.
But I'm
get
just
a
saying,
little
you did it, but it
Because
wasn't.
we eventually progressed to hitting her on her bottom or something
Well,
like
what I'm
that.
saying
And we was
is,
trying to fill it
if
out.
if 9 times
yeah.
out of 10, if an adult saw a boy hit a girl, it's
They
no, no,
just
no, don't hit her, don't hit her.
Yeah.
But if a girl hits a boy, it's
The girls
overlooked.
got to
It's
yeah.
yeah,
see,
it's
Women
like
Ken,
got
go
but
ahead.
see, Ken, you
females
grew
got
up with
away with it.
manners though.
Yes.
See, Ken,
Huh?
you grew up with manners.
No, I'm just saying, like I
A
hit,
lot of us didn't
like
grow up in that space.
like I
Like
hit
we,
girls on their butt and stuff like that. But what I'm saying
right,
is, it's what's accepted, right? For us growing up, it was
right,
accepted for a man shouldn't put his hands on a woman,
right.
but
Yeah.
if
At
a
that type of
woman put her hands on a man, it's not looked at like, okay, well, you shouldn't do that. It's, bruh, don't let her do that. Don't let her control you.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Put her in her place. Those type of things. And when you move forward with those type of thought process and you instill that in little kids in elementary school, age, what do you think they're gonna do when they become, junior high, high school, and adults? They're
Right.
gonna
They're
mimic
going to
that
carry
same
it out.
behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the flip end of that also is when you grow up in a house where you see domestic violence passed hit to the woman. So you kind of come out of that with this kind of skewed perception because you're like, yo, like, is that what you're supposed to do?
Right.
Like, so that's because for a lot of us young cats, we saw that the woman did respond better after she got stole on. So
Yeah.
No, she was
it's a
scared.
crazy perception because right, it's weird, but it's like some of us lived in that reality. Now I'm
Yeah.
fortunate enough, I've never I've seen it, I've been around it, I grew up in it, but I never felt that it was like legit or acceptable. So I've never put my hands on a woman ever. So, but I can imagine that little boy that saw that growing up. He's like, yeah. And then when you do hit her, tactically or playing funny or whatever it may be, and she responds because she saw it too growing up, it's a crazy dynamic. So you have to be careful because
Now that's
everybody
you
comes
just
from
described
spaces.
Blueface and Krishan.
Right. And there's plenty others out there. I know, we're not talking about Diddy and
I'm
Cassie
just
right
saying
now.
that's a
Who
where
did
somebody is willing to hit and somebody willing to hit back.
Now,
right.
the Blueface and Krishan, if there was a couple that was the walking symbol for trauma bond,
Trauma bond?
that
Yes.
It's them.
is the perfect example of
And
a
she's a
trauma
cute
bond.
girl.
It doesn't
Well,
matter. That doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't. It
No, no,
doesn't matter.
because I'm meaning it in this way. Some you would because in our heads you think cute girls wouldn't allow that. You get what I'm
But you
saying?
gotta understand
That
though,
has nothing to
Benji.
do with it.
There's two sides to that. The
Right.
women think Blueface is a handsome guy, so he's a
True.
handsome guy, a nice looking girl, and they together, and they both are detrimental to each other.
But
Both of
at
them.
the end of the
I agree.
day, y'all think that they're handsome and fine. If someone also internally, she might have low self esteem.
Oh
She
yeah,
Yes.
might have a bunch of other things wrong with her. And he might, as much as he portrays that he's that dude, might not feel like he's that
He's
dude.
that
So
dude.
that's why
Right.
he projects it so much.
Right.
So I mean, to say like someone that looks like her and him would never like looking like it doesn't mean that that's what they believe.
exactly, exactly.
I
And
agree. I agree
I think from
100%.
there, if you listen to them talk, you know that that's true. You know that
Yeah.
they both have low self esteem. When you listen to them talk, you can hear it about the
Right.
Hmm.
things that when they talk about their childhoods, when they talk about the way they were raised, especially Krishan, because she's talked about
Yeah.
the way she was brought up many times, and it's cringe. It's all cringe worthy stuff because it's like, wow, that's what
Right.
you had to deal with growing up. That's what you went through, and it's the manifestation of that right now in your activities, in the way you behave, and the way you talk, and the way you lash out. And it's not just with Blueface; it's across the board. She
Yeah.
just has issues. He has issues, and they happen to be two people with issues that got together.
Yeah.
So
Unresolved
Blueface
trauma.
is a product of trauma, which recognized trauma and used the weakness to lure in and gave her
Yes.
promise and hope and utilizes the trauma against her. And then because she's been through trauma, she will cause trauma, and they're just a whole whirlwind of trauma. And that poor
Especially if
child.
you've experienced success financially, like it will highlight it. Because coming up when we, come up, like I think back, man, and the stuff I saw was crazy. Seen a whole bunch. I used to ask my brother, like, why mama got that meat over her eye? Like, what does that mean? You get what I'm saying? Like I'm 6, 7, 8 years old. You get what I'm saying? Like, why? And I didn't understand it. But then the the trinkets were there, the nice cars were there,
Hmm.
the chains, the custom chains, the custom kicks,
Right.
the clothing, the big house, the cars, all of that is there. So it's like that level of success can make you feel like, oh shoot, I made it. So I can kind of do what I want to do. And so who cares if I got my experiences and my traumas? I made it. I'm good. So forget what y'all talking about. Like I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. And that's crazy because if you're in that space where you're with somebody like that, I don't care what you say. If you've been with somebody 5, 10, 12 years, you're gonna pick up some habits. So and then you
yeah,
start doing the same thing.
and a
Yeah,
lot of that
some
is
of them
it.
feel indebted, like they owe their lives to this individual that saved them.
Right,
And now, this your life wouldn't be this without them. So now
right,
they have been dangled with, this level of success, and that's now they're bonded to that, and they ain't going nowhere. They feel like they can't do that to this person that saved them.
right.
And they use that as their leverage.
Yep.
That is a
And a lot
fact.
and a lot of that is a me too. You know what I'm saying? A me too, not the me too movement, but it's me too. Like when you telling somebody, "Hey, I went through this as a kid." Oh, me too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, oh, I went through this. My last relationship was like this. Oh, me too. So
Yeah.
you are drawn together because y'all have some jacked up stuff that happened to both of you, and you're drawn together simply because of that. And that's your common ground. Not the fact that, what I'm saying, you all have, you both like to read books, or you both like scary movies. Like your bond is something that's nothing but trauma, literally. So I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard younger people have conversations, and I've heard conversations go just like that. My last
Yeah.
relationship, that guy put his hands on me, so and so and so and so. And then the guy, like, yeah, I've had relationships like that too, but I'm a changed man now. He's telling you what he did before, and
Yeah.
you're telling him what you experienced before, and you still walk right through
Y'all
that
said,
same door. It's like,
but no,
Right.
that's
it's
I mean to recognize it like, and this, I don't know if Tish is watching, but Venice, as y'all know her,
Hmm.
we when we were like establishing our friendship, we had a lot of moments that were, oh, my brother's like this, oh, mine too, or my mom deals with this, oh, mine too, or my, and so we had, but knowing, we was like, wait, let's make sure we ain't trauma bonded. Like,
Right. Right. Right.
like, we like, hold on, like, and so we definitely had those conversations to ensure like we weren't a trauma bonded friendship throughout time, and that had to go withstand other type of challenges to see if what we really were. But yeah, you can very much have that in friends, because we had a lot of things that aligned to the point where it was weird as heck that we were in each other's presence. But you got to recognize it and ask those questions, pay attention.
yep.
Yeah.
And you know
I
what?
think I think when the person that you're as super cool with, and like they recognize that, yeah, that's, we shouldn't be really cool on with that taking place. I think that's dope. That's how you can grow past all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
we definitely had a, let's make sure this ain't a trauma bond conversation.
right, right, right.
But they also have, of course, they also have a listing of signs of trauma bonds. So I mean,
Right.
all these aren't ironclad, they aren't perfect, but these are some things that you should look for in relationships, right? So these are signs of, well, I'm gonna go signs of trauma bonds, then I'm gonna go the seven stages that I just popped up.
Okay.
All right, the signs of trauma bond are dependency. The abused person makes you feel unable to function without the abuser, which you just
Hmm.
mentioned. Loyalty. The abused person may feel loyal to the abuser despite the harm caused. Like you talking about earlier, you make money with them and everything. You go through these good things, and something good comes out of the trauma, so you feel like you're indebted to them, that you need to stay there.
Hmm.
Rationalization. The abused person may defend the abuser's actions and make excuses for them. I've heard of that before,
Yeah.
where people are getting abused and somebody calls it out, and they make an excuse for the abuse.
Hmm.
So I'm like, well, they like, well, I did come in a little too late, and so he's told me before that he didn't like that, and so it's okay for him to put a knot on your head, like.
So you just got
Like,
boot bop because you came in after two?
Hey
yeah,
man, some
so
people think that that's love. You'd be surprised.
Because he
well, I
cares
mean,
about my safety.
yeah. So that's trauma bond action, folks.
Mhm.
Isolation. The abused person may isolate themselves from others. If you got people who in these crazy situations, and they won't answer the phone, they don't answer text, they don't go out anymore, that's a sign that they might be in a trauma bond. So if your friends are experiencing this, maybe you yourself are experiencing these things. Like, these are things to look for. And the last one on the list is hope. The abused person may hope that the abuser's behavior will change. And that's most situations. You think that this person is going to change, or worst case scenario, you think you can change them. Yeah, that's not going to happen until they decide to make changes on their own. And a lot of time, if this is behavior that they've had over an extended amount of time, it's not going to be easy for them to change. And 9 times out of 10, they won't change without help.
Right.
Nope.
I agree.
So, and then next thing I wanted to discuss the 7 stages of trauma bonding, and I got the graphic, the good old graphic here. We talked about love bombing earlier, excessive flatters and praises the partner, right? Trust and dependency. We got criticism. Gaslighting is one of those words that everybody loves to use. and that manipulates the partner into thinking that they're the crazy one, right? So addiction, yeah. Number five, yeah, was a big one. Number six, loss of self. That's kind of one of the biggest things we see. And number seven, resignation and submission. The partner just gives in to avoid conflict. I think all seven of those people can look at from different aspects in your friendships and something like that, and you've seen it. You've seen those
Right.
things manifest, right? Especially when people make excuses for the
The
behavior,
behavior, right. Now,
Right.
the,
right?
the interesting one for me is the gaslighting one because some people will take the gaslighting term and use it when you're calling them out on their BS. Like they will use the term "you're gaslighting me" because I'm actually holding you accountable for what you're actually doing. And it becomes interesting because the term just gets thrown out there. I had to look that
That's
one up.
just because that person doesn't believe that what they did was wrong.
Exactly.
They
That's a
believe that
fact,
you're trying to get them to believe that it's wrong. So then, in
Right.
that sense, they say you're gaslighting them.
and that's diabolical.
They just need to
Diabolical.
It is diabolical.
Diabolical.
I
Hey, you know
think the
what?
interesting one for me
We're gonna have to
was
run it on that show.
the
We're gonna have
interesting one for me
things that were
was
diabolical.
the interesting one for me was what was the last one, Ken, on the list? What was number seven? That one, the
Resignation
person
and
is in.
submission.
So now I could see people running with that and saying, avoiding conflict though, choosing your battles does not mean you're dealing with an abusive trauma bonding like that. So don't misconstrue that number seven just because you could choose like, hey, you know what, this ain't something that I want to argue about today. That's okay. I think that is
Fact.
an extreme definition of that to the point where
Yeah,
you just don't say anything about
Right.
nothing. So I just want to make sure folks don't confuse the two.
Right. Because people
yeah,
can, because manipulators are good at taking a situation and twisting it and making it about you being the problem. That's where you have to, and remember, if you're in this with them, trauma bond with them, you get used to them pushing and deflecting everything onto you,
Yeah, you're
and
always
you just
apologizing.
accept. So it's like, yeah, so you gotta be careful
Hmm.
with that. So
If
and
you find yourself as a result, if you came to tell them how they made you feel and you're apologizing at the end of this conversation all
trouble,
the time,
problem,
that's something to question.
yeah,
yes,
and the crazy one I want to point out is number five, right? The
okay.
addiction. The partner gets emotionally addicted to the positive reinforcement that comes after the abuse.
Mm.
That is wild,
That's the flowers,
right?
the cards, the candy, the
That's
money,
diabolical.
that's
Yes,
the
that's
sex, the
wild.
whatever. Like that's what
Oh,
they're.
stop. Let's go there. Let's go
Come
there
on,
because
ding, ding,
that
ding, ding.
is one of the biggest ones is the sex that comes after the abuse.
The
And
makeup sex.
yes, yes, and that is where people lose it on both sides. You know
And
what I'm
it's a very
saying?
aggressive, affectionate type of sex that you feel like, oh, they just love me. No.
Mm. I mean,
Yeah,
the makeup sessions be fire, but that's another story.
yeah, but I mean, my thing is, it's
Why you
okay
look
if you
that? Why
had a
you
little.
look up that?
It's
Because
it's
you
it's okay if you had a little argument, you know what I'm saying? You had a
and
little
that's different
argument or
though,
a little disagreement, but if y'all been in there scrapping, like
And he
really
can just
going
stalked
blows,
you,
yeah, and
bloody nosed you, and now
She
you got
might be
tissue in your
used to that.
nostril while he got you doggy style. That's wild.
that's
She
wild.
might be used to that though.
That
So
trauma.
you in a trauma bond, she used to getting socked out, and then you bending her legs over the back of her ears, and that's her form of being receptive. So you got to be careful because some people don't care. Though. I don't think some people until they get caught. Some people wild. If you wild, you wild. So I don't know.
But
That's
now
a
what
tough
we
spot.
said before the show, sometimes some of these abusers or whatnot don't even realize they're the
The problem.
trauma bond person. Like they're doing certain things too. So I mean, shall we
Yes,
That's
mention
true.
therapy again? Because
yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
yes. Hey, sometimes people's trauma bonds they manifest in a sexual manner. So fellas, y'all be careful when y'all out there choking these ladies, man, because
okay. So look,
Cause
if the
she
relationship
like
didn't
being
work
choked,
out,
man. I'm trying to
but you
tell you.
keep coming back because I keep dealing with her. She didn't cuss me out. She didn't threw my PlayStation out the window. She didn't key my car, but that
Mm,
fire.
mm, mm.
that's a trauma bond.
Listen, don't mess with my PlayStation. You know, PS5,
You're
Mortal
okay.
Kombat, and Tekken. Yeah, yeah, just leave those alone. I mean,
Yeah, nah. She cutting tires and she breaking PlayStation. It's gonna be some Mortal Kombat, all right.
yeah, it's gonna be some combat.
Man, look, and that's the so look. This is the
It'll
other
take me
thing,
back to
though.
my backsliding days. I mean,
This guy.
People don't understand that these trauma bonds can make the person that the abused eventually feel like stuck or caged
Yeah,
in. And
yeah,
depending on this
right,
person's mental, the only way to get out is to do something criminally insane. And
right,
as a result, there's all these things that do occur. Because, like I said, and this is the reason why this is not the reason why my grandma passed, but she was a trauma bond person that treated people a certain way, that would gaslight and reward and say things to these individuals. And one of the individuals is still doing time because he felt like his only way out was to do something.
right.
So yeah,
It
yeah.
can happen.
You're 100% correct, and I've seen that play out many different
Right.
ways, many different times. Yeah.
And
So
some people don't believe that they can find somebody even remotely close to as good as you, so to speak.
yeah,
And they don't want to sever that tie. Because although you're a little crazy, like you still pay the bill, you still bring your check home. I'll share this. This was crazy, but growing up, my grandmother used to. I couldn't say he was her husband. All I know is his name was Mule Skinner. That's all. I never knew his full name. None of that. But he used to get abused so bad by my grandmother. It was crazy. And every time we'd see him, he'd be down there on Bear Street, Ken, like drinking, 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 drinking all the time. But that was him. But he would always bring my grandmother his full check. And he would go down and hang down by the juke joint and drink and drink and drink and drink. I don't even know. I don't ever know what happened to him. But growing up, watching that, you'd be like, "What the heck, man? This is crazy." And everyone knew he used to get abused and beat up and all of this type of stuff. And all you'd see him is down there on the corner. So some people kind of are so need to feel love so bad because of how they grew up. They've been through so much that even the thought of you just being there and showing them some type of attention is like almost gratifying for them, that they're
mhm.
willing to put up what you give to them, even though it's everyone around you can consider it detrimental to you. It probably is the reason why you continue to keep drinking. And it's always a tough spot. So when you see it, and these are adults, these ain't 20-year-old, these are 40, 50, 60-year-old people kind of living in that space repetitively. And it could be crazy.
Yeah, people think it's a form of love, but it's a trauma. It's a form of
Right.
trauma
yeah,
versus love. And again, love can manifest itself in many different ways, but love don't manifest itself with a knuckle to your eye. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like somebody can't. I mean, to me, at 44 years old, you can't tell me that you love me and punch me in my face, right?
No,
Like
Facts.
that just don't align for me, and there's certain things that if you really loved me as a person that you would not do to me. So
absolutely.
Right.
when you start doing things that show me that okay, you don't love me, I'm gonna believe that and I'm gonna move as such, and I'm never gonna look back because
Because when someone shows you your face, their face, you believe that. Like
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
don't don't
We
make it
know
up.
we know too much now, right?
Right.
To
Right.
to put it with the foolishness, to continue to fall, victim to these cycles. And I know a lot of this stuff is, psychological for some of these people.
Yeah.
And, and I can't tell somebody that they're wrong for falling victim to it, because some of them had extenuating circumstances in their life earlier that allowed them to fall victim to it now.
Most of them are
So
preyed upon because they can
yes,
sense
Yeah, true.
the
Very
mental
true.
weakness in some type of way. The predators, just in a
yes.
different way. They can
In,
smell it a
in in
mile
the
away.
short term, yes, predators is the
Yeah.
right word for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not talking down on people because of that, but
Mm-mm.
all I'm saying is, we have to do a better job of being honest with ourselves. That's the biggest thing. And
Yeah.
calling like that old folks say, call a spade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you see it in front of you and you see it going on, that's probably exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes you got can't be afraid of being present. Though. I think some people are scared of. I'll say this for me, because I can be, brutally honest sometimes. Sometimes you're not sure of being in that present and being in that space and being present. It's even, like, do I really want to expend my energy in this space? So you kind of withdraw a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But as you mature, as you get older, you realize, listen, you need to be present in that situation. Say what's legit, say what's solid, uh, take up for yourself, take up for what you consider is, right and good, and proceed with that. No matter who takes it left or right or takes it the wrong way, it kind of doesn't matter. In a lot of spaces, you do have to be present though. So
yeah. So I
I
mean,
think everything takes reassessing as well. Like
mhm.
reevaluate, sit back and come back over. Even when things are good, reassess it and come out of there clapping and happy. But just
right,
reassess like where things are at. Is this person treating me how I want to be treated? Have all of these situations that has happened added up to something that I'm not willing to deal with? Does this person really love me? Is this what I
right,
really want? Like people just go with a relationship and they want to get to the years. Oh, 6 years, but 6 years of bullshit. Like, come on, you gotta
right.
reevaluate. Like, really take a
Ten
second
years, ten
and think
years of
about
dealing with getting hit in the faces of it.
it. Yeah,
that's
Hold
that's not
on,
that's not a great accomplishment.
right.
it's not.
That's not. Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean,
you
but
should
there, but
stick. You should stick with him, girl. You should.
yeah,
I can imagine how many conversations. I would pay anything to be a fly on the wall back in those days when my mom was in those spaces, and to hear what maybe family was saying,
People telling
or
her to,
her
yeah,
closest girl, because the big house, the big house, the nice cars, the money, the clout in the streets. I would pay anything to hear what the people around her, just for the idea of understanding people, so to speak. Because I
I don't
can
I don't
imagine.
think you would want to know though. I don't think you would
I'm
want to
too
know.
inquisitive.
it would
I'm
probably
too
piss you
inquisitive.
off.
I
But
would want to know
the only
because
downside to that though, Benji,
right,
is you knowing that could change how you view your mom as well. So
right,
that
it could,
that would be something that would, could be a little awkward for you. I think viewing our parents and seeing our parents in a light that we haven't seen them, that we know could exist,
right,
but actually seeing that, what I'm saying,
could be
could
right.
change the total dynamic of how we feel about them and how we view them. So I'm a firm
And I would
believer that,
agree with that. And I would
yeah,
agree with that, Ken, because
I think
it
everything happens
really
for a
changed
reason.
my
yeah,
idea of how I view my aunts and my uncles,
yeah,
like some family back then, because all they were concerned about was the money we were getting because she passed.
yeah.
So much so that even at the funerals there, like these boys coming into some money and did. So I would totally agree with that. But I'm so inquisitive, man. Like that I want to know type of thing. Sometimes it can be the detriment, because I always like to side on the idea of the truth and it being factual. I kind of dig into that probably a little bit more then probably should be warranted. But because and for me, at the end of the day, at least I know the facts. I know the truth. I know what was legit and wasn't, because you can kind of look at people different. If I don't know you told me a lie, if I don't know you was rolling this way, like I'm gonna treat you a certain way. Obviously, I'm gonna think you solid.
Maybe you weren't meant to know.
Yeah,
That's
Because it
I
might
I
have
think
would
been,
agree. I would
and
agree.
then this is not, I'm not trying to say that this is what happened, but maybe, the people that took you in and take care of you too might have at one point possibly said something, but
Right.
it wasn't made for you to look at them different, because in that
Right.
moment, God already knows the path.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
So you didn't need to feel that way about these people that were getting ready to take care of you. So,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
things happen for a reason.
I agree. I agree.
yeah.
It
I think
definitely
God
will change their perception. That for sure.
I think God shields us from stuff, you know what I'm saying? It keeps
Yeah,
us from knowing things and
That's a
agreed.
fact.
keeps us from seeing, certain people in our lives in certain light. Because if you saw them in that light as a young person, that could change your whole perception of them throughout the rest of your life. But we also know that things that we saw as a young person, we didn't understand. And now as an adult, we look back at it and we're like, oh, okay.
Right.
Now I completely understand why things were this way or that way. So,
Right.
like I said, I'm just a firm believer, man, that in most cases, you know what I'm saying, that we're inquisitive about. God
Right.
has a firm reason for not allowing us
Closing
to
our
be
eyes
privy to
to.
that information. Right.
I
So,
agree, because
yeah.
my uncle said something to me one day, because I was upset at my aunt Linda. I mean, like, done. And he said to me, he was like, son, like, she operated in the best way that she could at that time under those circumstances.
Hmm.
And I'd never heard anybody say it to me in that way, because I was walking around angry, pissed off at her for like years. And this is when I'm like 19, 20 years old. And he said, think about it. He's like, given those circumstances, how would you have reacted? How would you have responded? Because that's her sister. Those are her brothers around. She's got to deal with all of that. And then now she's got to bring you and your brother into her life when she's got her own kids, and she don't know how she's going to take care of them. Now she got to add two more. And it's this whole dynamic of just, and that made it all like, you know what? That makes absolutely great
Hmm.
sense. But shout out to my uncle, who's very, very, very wise man. So
Yeah.
that's having that wisdom around you helps a lot too. So
I can't even imagine. I mean, not only that, you were her constant reminder
right,
of what she lost too. So
that is a fact,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
good way to put it. That constant reminder too, because every day you got to look at her two sons being here and her sister is gone.
Yep.
And my
Mm,
grandmother couldn't take it, and she passed like the months after that.
yeah.
So I can imagine that. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there are ways that we can get past some of these trauma bonds. So this, we always, the Fiyah Session gonna always have some tips for you to
Right.
Fact.
try and help you. Now, like I said, these things do not mean that they are 100% gonna work for you, but we just want to give you some idea of things that might help you along your trek. And that's the whole issue. That's the whole thing of what we do, right? We try to give you something that can help you along the way, along this trek in life, man, because it gets difficult. So we just want to give you all some things. So steps to break a trauma bond, right? First
Right.
of all, as Benji said, acknowledge the present, right? Acknowledge what's going on right now, right? Realize what's happening now instead of hoping for change. Look at the evidence. Practice self care and positive self talk. Focus on their actions, not their false promises.
Hmm.
Rebuild your self esteem and confidence. So, all these things are things that we already discussed, and trying to, alleviate the situation that you're actually in. But the one of the biggest things I want to focus on right quick is the focus on their actions and not their false promises, right? Because they're showing you who they are, as we said earlier, but they're saying, nah, I'm not that guy, I'm not that girl, I won't do that again. I would never do that to you, you know, blah blah blah. All this lip service,
Right.
right? They talking, but their actions are saying something totally different.
Actions
Look,
speak louder than words.
exactly. Look at the
You see?
actions.
Right. It's funny how a person. I was watching a clip today, and he said, "Have you ever ran into somebody that was telling a lie, but they told the lie so good that it made it feel like it was true?" Like, that's crazy when you think of, you can meet somebody who is so good at lying that you almost believe that it's true. And people can do that with their actions, so to speak. They can put up a good front. So you got to really like be interested in studying the person that you're with,
Yeah, you
because
gotta pay attention because
you got
eventually
to pay
it's
attention.
all up front, so they're gonna falter in some type of way.
Right.
So you gotta pay attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
They don't
girl
slip.
told
They
me
don't
some stuff. This girl told me some stuff, and she was telling me this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Whole time she was running game on me, but but you know, I'm feeling bad for her because you know she didn't told me these stories about her upbringing, about you know things that happened to her in her life, and you know I'm trying to be the nice guy,
Mhm.
and whole time there's another dude over here, you know what I'm saying, creeping up, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just oblivious to it because I'm caught in her web of lies and her
Mhm.
deception, and you know, just trying to, you know,
Finessing.
I'm lying to myself, just like we talked about earlier. I'm lying to
That is a
myself,
fact.
you know what I'm saying, because I want the best for her so bad that I'm not even looking out for me, right?
Right.
So, and I think that a lot of situations that happens, we look out for so much for somebody else so much that we forget about looking out for ourselves. And you should look out for yourself first and foremost all the time.
I
That is a
think that's
fact.
a red flag in itself. Anybody that you meet that's willing to like tell you so much of their business so fast, their problems, their experiences, like, cause for me, like that's such a
Love
personal.
bombing, right?
Like you're not gonna know my business like that until I believe you're that person that needs to know this, like that knows like
Agreed.
what has happened in my life or my story with my grandma or whatever. Like that's not just coming at you hot because I just met you and you fine. Like nah.
Right.
Well, no,
That's
that's not
that
love
love.
bombing,
Is
Busy.
that the love
No,
bomb? That's not the love
that's not
bombing.
love
Okay.
bombing. Love bombing is when you meet somebody and they buying you gifts and they constantly telling you about how great you are every single day. Every time they
Right.
talk to you, is this. They're constantly sending you text messages talking about how amazing you look and all this great stuff. It's like constant, constant, constant. That's all they doing, and all of a sudden, it changes,
Right.
right? And that's but what she's talking about is 100%, 100% facts. And I've experienced, you know, some things along that line, and you know, you just have to be honest with yourself, man,
That is the fact.
because people will tell you whatever it takes. They feel that it takes to, you know what I'm saying, get whatever they want out of you. But
Yeah.
I
To
mean,
me, that's just
sometimes
weird. It ain't. It's not love bombing like you said, yeah, but it's just weird. Like, don't you just a little too open?
my mom told me that, Trisha Michelle. I can't. I was trying to think about it. My mom told me that exact thing. She said, if you talking to a girl and she telling you all her business that fast, first of all, you ain't the first one that she done that for.
Right. She's
Second of
looking for, it's
all,
a bait and hook.
it's
That's
a
what
bait
she
and
do.
hook.
Mhm.
Yes, it's part of her what she does. So don't get caught up in that web of lies off the front because they trying to soften you up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
So
men
now
that do
you
it
like,
too, though, because I've definitely.
oh
Now
yeah,
I ain't talked to him no, but when we was talking, I was sitting there like, why are you? Because I'm so like private. So for me, I was like, why are you telling me all this?
Right.
Like, it was weird for me. So I mean, that's great. To they're like, you're like, oh my god, you're opening up to me. Not in 2 weeks, boo. I need you to keep that to yourself. Like I don't
Like,
even
I
know.
want
Oh,
to
you know
hear
that
that one,
I don't
right?
even know if I care about that. I mean, that's just being real honest. Like
Right.
I just met you. I don't know if I care.
And some people can take that as it's too much. And then some people can take
Yeah.
that as, oh, at full transparency. And you can't get caught in that, because sometimes I like to be fully transparent, because I don't like for people to feel like I owe you anything or I want anything from you. So sometimes the open transparency can work for you or against you. So I mean, you have to be careful. But when you're around a space,
different thing.
right? But when you're around a space where people are interested in your well-being, it's a totally different ballgame.
Well,
So,
yeah, but it's you're only going now. This is for the person that it just feels like they need to divulge everything. You're not even going to be able to weed out if someone really cares about you, because you're literally like telling them all of your business up front,
right,
and they're
Yeah.
going to use it. If they're a user, they're going to use it to abuse you,
right,
versus waiting to find out if this person truly cares and trickle a little bit here, trickle in a little information here, a little, give them little things along the way to see if you can really trust this person and see how they react and see if they
right,
care. Besides just giving it everything up front, they're gonna, oh, okay, she hurt, she got trauma,
right,
she got daddy issues, she got it. Okay.
Yep.
right.
All of that can be weaponized, as we call it.
Hmm.
So they're
That is
gonna
a
turn
fact.
it right back around and utilize it. And especially, that's been a big thing that's been discussed lately. Women with daddy issues and how guys will try to, come in and take daddy's spot. Right.
That
Right,
ain't
You know what I'm
nothing new,
saying?
and you have us out here calling them daddy. Now you can call them daddy, that's different. But
Well,
what I'm saying
we
is,
see we
hold
gotta
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm not done with my thought. You could call
uh,
him daddy, that's fine. But what I'm saying is, you're really letting this person feel your father little void. That's different. And
right,
they're really like promoting it. I've seen somebody post it.
right.
Like my daddy and my daddy. Like they put it
Now that's diabolical.
like that. I was like, what?
Daddy and daddy.
My daddy and my daddy. And I was
You want to be put in the same breath as your daddy.
like, I don't even know
I
why this
wouldn't
is a
want that
post,
thought.
but like that is a problem. Like he should be a different
Daddy
type of
and
he
daddy.
should be a different type of
D and
daddy.
D, huh?
You
and
know?
see that's why I was just gonna say, Tristan Michelle, I have a problem with women calling dudes daddy. Now, women have talked to me crazy about this whole thing. It's just me personally. Don't call
Right,
me that. I don't want to be called that. I don't. I have my own daughter now. That's the person who can call me daddy.
right,
Yeah, it can
Other than that,
be
I
weird.
don't want a woman that isn't my daughter calling me daddy. Period. That's just weird for me, right? So, to each his own.
To
But
each
to
his own.
me,
They'll
that's
say
always
daddy.
been weird to me, man.
There's different terms out there. They call him daddy. They call him big daddy. All those different things.
Hey man, stroke. Hey,
Hey,
some
to each his
hey,
own,
some women know how to stroke your ego too. So this goes both
Look, there was
ways.
this video where this girl, she purposely was gonna call her dude daddy and say anything you want, daddy. You want so she did it. He was like he was excited. Like the reaction was hilarious. Like that stroke of the ego that does to some men
I did,
is
Yeah,
did,
bad.
trust me.
did Diddy was calling people daddy too. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, he was stroking a couple of other egos in many ways
I
of
like
many
how you
strokes
do
and
that
many
dance
different
right there,
ways.
daddy. I like how you do that dance there. I like when you scrambling,
Meat
daddy.
meal bouncing,
I was
bunny
like,
hopping,
whoa,
whatever. Your
whoa,
record.
whoa.
You listen. You could just go off the scene, dog. Like that's bro. This dude is bounced. Listen, dog. Like just bro.
Yeah, that's a
Just stay
whole
out the
another.
spotlight, dog. Like
That's a
that's
whole that
full.
is another walking trauma bonding abusive.
That 100%
Another
facts.
He's finding
man
these
calling
women.
another man daddy
No, that
is
we're not talking about that. That's just that's diabolical activity.
That's
man.
That
That
diabolical.
is yes.
But yeah, now I mean, the Diddy
Ugh, just the
situation
thought.
definitely has a few levels of trauma bonding, from his
Mhm.
relationships even to his friendships, seem
Yeah,
to be trauma bonding because of the stories that are coming out and the things that they talk about, the way he was treating people. Yeah, textbook definition of trauma bonds. So
yeah.
Your boy
yeah,
got video on everybody at the crib. They all shut up.
yeah, so that's gonna be interesting too. But yeah, this trauma bond
Dang.
thing, this trauma bond thing is a very tricky territory to navigate people. So please be careful with the information, like Trish Michelle said, the information that you give people and that you put out there, because a lot of times they'll weaponize it and use it against you. And with trauma bonding, it's things that you've been through, it's things that they've been through. But if you're giving them the information about all this stuff that you've been through, then you're opening yourself up for either transparency or either trauma, more trauma on top of that, because you know people are users and
That
abusers.
is a
So
fact.
just please be careful as you navigate that. But I think we've given you some tips and some things to look out for, and hopefully you can recognize those things, take a few notes, and just step back. And like Trish Michelle said earlier in the episode, when you're talking to people and you're meeting people, really analyze who this person is, their intentions, the things that they talk about, the conversation that you have. Really pay attention to them, because you can pick apart a lot of the people who are going to be problems later on,
Right.
problematic later on, by just listening. So stop looking for the good deed and stop looking for the gifts and all this other stuff, and you can avoid some of these traps too, because a lot of times that good sex and them gifts, what I'm saying, they come with a
Hit
hefty
you every time.
a heavy price, and a price that you're not willing to pay, or that you don't want to pay. So please pay attention. But before we get up out of here, we got to give our people an opportunity to tell you something good. So Trish
Tell you
Michelle,
something.
talk to the people
Tell
before
me
we get up out of
something
here.
good.
I'm sure after like listening to this episode, folks could be left wondering, like, dang, like the dating world is crazy. Like, how are you supposed to find genuine? Like, there are genuine people out there. Utilize the little tips and tricks that we gave you. Be present, like Benji said too. Like, pay attention, reassess, pray. So you're gonna need God by your side. Um,
Man,
Facts.
but I mean, you'll just don't change. What I can say is be cautious. But if you're a genuine person, don't change that, because we're losing genuine people,
that is a
because they're
fact.
being tainted by these people that abuse. So
Right.
and everybody go get you some damn therapy.
Facts.
Everybody.
Facts.
We've had
Yeah,
plenty of shows. We know a lot of it. So
yeah. I'm like, facts. It's easy to get therapy. You ain't got to tell everybody you're doing therapy if you want to keep it on the low. Like, just go get it for yourself. And if you want to assess and see if you might have had some trauma bonds, or if you are the person that causes the trauma, talk to that therapist. She'll let you know. She or he will let you
Yep.
know. Fact. But you can find me everywhere on social media. Trisha Michelle. What was I about to call myself? Michelle.
I don't know.
Trisha Michelle underscore TM. I came back from Mexico and but you can find me everywhere. And it was a Fiyah Session every Tuesday for sure. I'm done.
Hilarious, hilarious.
Facts.
I
All
think
right,
I need to
Benji.
go to Mexico. I think I need to go ahead. I think I need to go to Tulum or something like that.
All right, Benji Banks, man, the brand. Talk to the people, man.
Man, listen, man. I'll say this. Uh, you can overcome if you like make the decision that you want to walk in, like this great space, man. I know it's a lot of stuff out there, whether it be associated with dating, all of these types of things, whatever it may be. You just have to make a conscious effort that you ain't putting up with nobody's BS. Like, and you have to stick to it. Now, that don't mean, be obnoxious, be rude to everybody or whatever, but you have to know what to go to and what to go away from. And part of that, as Patricia said, you need God in that. So there's a scripture that says, "In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths." So I'm a firm believer in um, before you start your day, man, like actually pray about it. Pray about some things. Talk to God about it in the morning. And there's some things He'll tell you, yeah, don't pull up over there. And I'm grateful for those, even though I've been around and them, like I remember those times when God's voice told me, "Yeah, don't go up over there. It's gonna be some drama over there today."
Sure.
And it happened. I didn't go, and it happened. So I'm grateful for those times. So take those times, take those moments, man. But know what you're willing to deal with and what you ain't gonna deal with, and stick to it. It might isolate you, but stick to it, dog. Like it's better to have yourself, your sanity, your soul clean, right, straight, than to be tainted because you wanted to hang out with the crowd and just roll and do whatever. So y'all know where to find me. IG BRB4701. Look for the Code Beauty page. We're going to start doing a lot of pushing on that. You can find me Benji Banks. Page is growing. Everything's growing. Everything's going how we want it. So look for your boy. Find the Fiyah Session page. Continue to tell your partners, your homegirls about these interviews because, yeah, we need to pull up on some more of them. So keep looking for us, man. So we here.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So I just want to tell people, man, know your worth, pray and be patient. It's just that simple. When you're navigating through our adulthood, there's so much to look for. There's so much going on. But if you pray, be patient, and know who you are, know your worth, it could take you a long way, and it could help you avoid a lot of pitfalls. Y'all already know where to find me. Big Ken's Comedy on IG, Big Ken's Comedy on Twitter, Big Ken's Comedy on Facebook. Y'all can catch the Fiyah Session on all social media platforms. Just type in FIYAA Session and we'll pop right up. Make sure you go to YouTube, like and subscribe, hit that bell notification so every time we post any new episodes, we go live, we post any shorts, clips, anything, any new content, you get notified. Keep following the pages so you can keep up with what we got going on. Y'all know it's the summertime, so we're going a little break. So you know what I'm saying, we won't be live throughout the month of July. We're gonna be taking a little break. We'll be back in August with some new content, new episodes, new interviews. Yeah, we got some tricks up our sleeve. So we coming back with some new stuff. So y'all just be patient. And it's 165 episodes that I know you haven't seen them all. So while we're gone, take the time to go through some of those episodes and follow our trek throughout our history and get caught up, right? So when you come back, you know what I'm saying, we come back with that renewed energy and those new episodes, those new content, you're ready for us, right? And we appreciate your support, your love, and continue to spread the word that we're here and we're just trying to put information out there to help people. And as I always say, we put the medicine in the candy. We're gonna give you some entertainment, but we want to educate you as well. So we want to continue to do that and make sure that we all are on the same page when it comes to making this world a little bit better every episode. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Y'all be safe. It's a Fiyah Session. Peace.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow us on all social media platforms. Just search Fiyah Session.